I like the idea of an organic coffee shop that sells organic produce and has healthy food. You know, I think that's a welcome addition to Bisbee. And when the Whyld guys first opened up their shop, I thought it was great that they were bringing something that we actually could use here, something that everybody would like, everybody could get into, and I supported them, 100%. But things kind of got out of hand here recently. Oh, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I guess it was, I'm walking down the Gulch again, and I was stopped by Ryan. And Ryan was quite upset. I guess that somebody had written asshole faggot on his window, and he was quite upset about it. And who wouldn't be, rightfully so. And he was going to go to the council meeting that night, and he was going to hold a rally. And the first idea of his rally was, and he told me this, was he wanted to have Ben Rayner removed from chief of police. And I told him, I don't think that's going to fly. That doesn't seem to be a very good idea. You better think of something else, because that's not going to work. So I think they kind of gave up the idea of removing Ben Rayner, who's a very popular man in town, and then they just wanted to make a hate crime out of what had happened to them. Well, Ryan spoke at the council meeting. I was surprised, in fact shocked a little bit, when I was sitting there, and Dale, the alleged perpetrator of this, nobody knows who did what, but Dale stood up and he spoke for himself, and I was impressed. I was quite impressed with the young man. He stood up and he spoke, and he was articulate, and he told his side of the story, and I went, wow, there are two sides to this story. Well, I guess there was a dispute over the lot next to them. The free store is on that lot. So those kids would go there to the free store and do their shopping, and sometimes hang around in that lot, and it belonged to them as much as anybody else, and they were hanging around a lot. Well, I thought of him singling out these kids because he had had confrontations with them over them being in that lot where they have to go. These are kids that are homeless, that aren't doing that well, and they need the free store. That's where they shop. And I became sympathetic towards them because of I felt that they were being treated unfairly.
It all started with us sitting downtown in the park with a group of people around the table, and he was across the street accusing me of stealing his outdoor weather speaker. And I told him, come on, man, I didn't steal your speaker, and maybe if you were nice to the locals that wouldn't have happened, and I would have been giving you a free surround sound system that I'm trying to get rid of. And he came across the street just threatening me and everything to beat me up, and started to pull a knife out from behind his back. And I made the simple mistake and mischoice of words and said, you know what, I've been here for over 20 years, keep walking with your little bitch fag ass. Just not knowing he was gay at the time. And ever since then he's been like pushing me on the shoulder as I'm walking down the sidewalk, saying excuse me, with this attitude and stuff, and I may have said excuse you back to him, and he just constantly keeps harassing me. Then proceeded to start, when I got sick of it, because I was walking down the sidewalk and he's asking me if milk come out those bitch tits of mine. And just as I'm walking down the sidewalk, I finally confronted him that day, because I was all the way down past Elmo's and he still kept yelling at me, and I turned around and basically told him like a few things, and kept walking, and he still kept yelling at me when I was all the way down towards Broadway stairs, totally past his business, just yelling down the sidewalk. And I turned around and I'm all like, you know what, Dick, it takes a bigger man to walk away, and kept on walking. And that same day I went and basically, because I was sick of it, and I got up in his face a little bit, tell him, look, let's agree like men to disagree and walk on separate sides of the street, and made him shake my hand. And 3 days in a row, for no reason, he had the police come down to the park and harass me for him. And he constantly started turning it around where I'm harassing him when he's the one been harassing me. And I'm just getting sick of it and fed up with it, and I just want them to leave me alone. And it's like the only reason I go over there is because the free pile's there, and they try and act like they own that lot, when even the cops have told me they've looked into it and they don't own it or have permission, that the owners don't want anybody using that lot for any reason.
And then what happened with the protection order? Was that dropped, or is it still?
The protection order was dropped. The disorderly conduct and harassment charges, I do not know. They had a court date set up for the 10th. I showed it to Morales when I was getting the restraining order dropped, because they didn't even show. They were trying to call and postpone it and make up some lame excuse, according to the judge, and he wouldn't allow it and just dropped it because they didn't show. And then he told them, this man needs his day in court, he's going to have it, and they just let it go. And they had like no excuse why they needed to postpone it. They were sitting right down here in front of their own shop when I got out of court.
So what if you want to talk about what you've been doing, or with your coffee, or?
Well, I guess Ryan decided to come out and talk to people today, and that didn't seem to go so well.
You used to always do Food Not Bombs here the same spot.
I did Food Not Bombs here for the occupation. I told him that a lot of people consider it a free space. I built an entire park over in the lot where the Bark Park used to be, out of pallet furniture, and had coffee there. And, and then I explained to him that this wall here has been a graffiti wall for 20 years, that people have done street art on that wall. And that this was a free space there and had a lot of history, and that he's hired the police because he pays a lot of taxes.
That's what he said to you?
That's what he said several times. I'm sure he'll say the same if you ask him.
Is this Ryan?
Ryan.
After this incident happened, one morning, the chief of police, Minrena, the city manager, Gene Connors, the council person, and David Smith, who I don't know what his role is exactly, came down here and met with Ryan. And there was a little bird sitting there. And the little bird watched the meeting that took place between them, and she thought that the city people were all very reasonable, very nice, very professional, that they were just, you couldn't have asked for a better response than they got from the city. Concern, and wanting to be helpful. But that Ryan really wasn't open to it. He was still very angry and very sort of out of control. That's what the little bird told me. And that he had to be admonished a bit, told to settle down, calm down. There's no need for this. We're here to help. There's no need for you to be so upset. So it has been an upsetting situation for him, and I think the city has been more than helpful. They've been quite good about this throughout the whole thing. Even going back to Ken Gulch. So there's, you know, always enough blame to go around, but you know, we all act badly sometimes from time to time, and when we get emotional, when our, you know, when our emotions overcome the rational part of our brain, then we have a tendency to act badly. Lord God knows I know that, and so you know, I think there's just a bit of that going on, and I would hope that if we could get beyond emotion and look at the situation here rationally, you know, we'll kind of see that. You know, that it can be peacefully resolved, and no one needs to suffer as a result of this. You know, it could be a good lesson for all of us.